there, this is Jenny from The Sewing Palace. I'm here to show you a fun new project from a book that we got that is from Lavender and Lime, and it's got 6 table runners in it. And today we're going to do a cute table runner out of a collection called Bramble from Moda. So we'll get started in a second. Let's get started by collecting our supplies. Today we're going to be making table runner number 3 out of the book Lavender and Lime. You'll need 6 different fabrics that will make up this cute block. Today we're using Bramble, and we do have kits for this that are exactly like that. Most of the fabrics are either a 1/4 yard or 3/8 of a yard, so you don't need much fabric there. You'll also need some starch, which I love to mix, Best Press and Terrio Magic. 1/3 of this and 2/3 of this, and you put it in your atomizing bottle and you can have a great mister source. You also will need cutting utensils, so a rotary cutter, mat, and ruler. Some strip cutters are really helpful when you're cutting from pieces like this. So Creative Grids has a couple of options that are nice and easy to manage. This one is the 3.5 by 12.5, one of my favorites. It fits my hand very nicely. A woolly pressing mat, a wonderful sewing machine with a 1/4 inch foot, and I think you're almost ready to get started on your table runner. Let's look at our block. So today we have what is kind of like a log cabin or a courthouse step block. You'll need to pick some light fabrics that'll go into this corner here. So I've chosen a cream and a light gray. And then the other coordinating fabrics are a little darker. So here I picked an accent color of teal and black, and then a darker print here. I did pick a focal print in the center, which has cute little raccoons and squirrels on it. So that'll be in the center of the block. Those are cut at 6.5 inches. And then we'll talk about cutting the strips here in a second. So we're ready to get started and start cutting up our block. We've got our center block, which could be a cute motif, or you could get the kit and have this cute little print. You could also embroider something focused right in the center. All these strips around your block are cut at 2.5. So when you're building a log cabin block, you usually are sewing long strips to the edges, and you work your way around it. When you're cutting strips from fabric for a log cabin, here is a piece of fabric that has the selvage here, and then here's my fold. So if you cut fabric strips like most of us do, we lay our fabric down and we cut strips down this way. Those strips have more a tendency to stretch. So this direction can stretch a little bit more. You want a really stable edge when you're making a log cabin block. So I'm going to cut strips along my selvage grain. If you pull on the fabric that way, it doesn't stretch as much. So that helps when you're building your block for your block not to grow. So that's the best tip for that. You can pre-starch your fabric. Here is my selvage, and I'm going to start cutting some sequential strips from that. All right, we're ready to get started and cut some strips. We're going to be cutting them along the selvage edge, and they're 2-inch strips, so a nice strip cutter is perfect for this. I'm going to cut my selvage off, and then I'll work my way up. And I need a couple of 2-inch strips, so I will measure that 2-inch strip and just work my way down. Now you notice one thing that I just did is I cut with one hand, and then I never picked up my fabric and I worked my way down the strip. This allows you to stay a lot more accurate by not rotating and picking things up. You can get a rotating mat if you're only dominant with one hand to cut, but it's a great thing to teach yourself to cut with both hands. Then you can keep your fabric stationary. So I'll keep cutting some 2-inch strips, and then I will subcut those strips into the segments that are in the pattern. This one in particular is going to be 6.5, and it's going to live right along this edge here. Once you have all your strips cut, you're going to start assembling your block. This is when a prop-up board is really helpful, or a design wall. You'll put your center block in the center, and then you're going to start laying out your small pieces. So these 2 pieces, a light and a dark, will be sewn together, and they should match this distance. You can then add the black. So you'll have a piece that looks like this. So that goes here. Then when you're working along the long sides, you're going to add 2 strips together so that you have a segment that looks like this. Now pay attention when you do this, they will rotate so that your fabric stays in the dark corner when you're making your block. So you'll add 2 strips there, and then you will add these small squares to the end of the black, and you'll have a unit that looks like this, plus these little guys on the end. That will match in length there. Then you will finish off your block by finishing these borders. You'll sew 2 strips together here, there and there. So you'll have a unit that looks like this. And once that's done, you'll sew this together. Then you'll do the top and the bottom. So you'll sew these 2 together, then add your squares. You'll have a unit that looks like this, and then you will sew it to the top and then to the bottom. Just be careful to keep your darks and your lights in the right position and use your prop-up board to keep you organized. You're going to make 4 of those blocks and join them together. The finished size of the block is 15 inches by 15 inches. And here is our kit all finished and sewn together. What's fun about this is what I did when I assembled this table runner is I changed the direction of the focal fabric. So therefore, when you put it on your table, you don't have to worry about it having a top or a bottom. So I just changed the direction of the focal fabric. This is our bramble kit that we have here at the store that you can purchase on our website. And we also have the book that you can purchase on our website as well. So you can get both of those. Thanks for joining me for an inspirational video and a fun project. This is Jenny from The Sewing Palace signing off. Bye-bye.